The things is, there's very young generation that they're motivated about growing coffee. The rest is nothing. All my friends, they hate it. They really hate coffee. The reason, the price is terrible.
Tanzania is a small producer. Our production ranges 800,000 bags to 1.2 million bags. Arabica is the majority with 60 to 70%, and the Robusta 30 to 40%. 90% of this coffee comes from smallholders. They've got small farms, half an acre to 2 acre, most of them. So this is very vital for us. It contributes economically. This number makes like 500,000 families producing this kind of coffee. Coffee was brought by missionaries. I don't know when, who, but they came from the Bourbon Island, and then it came to all the way to Kilwa, to Morogoro, and then commercially started growing in Kilimanjaro in the year 1880s before going to Kenya. Yeah, so coffee in Kenya was brought from Tanzania. 1920s becomes like the first milling, and then the first cooperative 1932, and then the local people started growing coffee. Before it was only for the farms. To date, your coffee is grown in more than around 15 to 16 regions in the country.
Everyone who needs the good coffee in Tanzania will only think on buying North coffee, Kilimanjaro, Arusha, Manyara coffee. But nowadays, people are buying a lot of coffee from South, from there, from Binga. Why? Because they see the good coffees from there. Previously, there was no good coffees from there. Coffee in Tanzania are growing in a highland, mountains. So the coffees from those areas, they have good bodies, they have good acidities, balanced cup. What makes those coffee not be specialty or not have the specialty scores of maybe above 85%, it is the processing.
The organic one, the future, the people now, you are realize about the problem of the come from the chemical. The 100% I think the discovery come from Europe, you white people. And the white people now, I recognize now this is the major problem for the health. So you are reduced. People be destroy the ecosystem. That is the problem. If you will be care the ecosystem, there's no problem. So when you be care the area, you never use any strong chemicals. The generation will be, the ecosystem will be controlled. Because when you can use the chemical, you have to kill the termites, for example, and the termites is most urgent for control the generation of insects. And you also can chase away the chameleons. You see, the coffee crops is mostly crops which are being controlled by the ecosystem.
Only these few farmers who are into the fair trade and organic, they get at least good money. But they're 10 out of 100. The rest of them, they don't get anything. And even they will hate that more because it's like waste of time. If you grow coffee for 1 year and you get only $100, and I grow carrot for 3 months and I get $500, what do you think I will do? Skip coffee, go into the carrot. Coffee is a crop that you need to harvest, and you don't harvest once. You go into categories: once a week, once, maybe 4 times a month. And the people who are going to harvest, they need to be paid. Now if I have, let's say, 10 acres of farm and they're all turned red, I cannot pick them at once. Otherwise I will pick only 100 kilos out of 1,000. The rest will start to be destroyed, and when they start to get destroyed, the quality will be less. If I go to the news or if I go to the internet and I will look the world market and I just find out that a kilo of coffee is maybe say $20, and then I sell my coffee for $1.50. I know there is a lot of cost on the way, but I can sit down myself and calculate and see that there is quite a big profit on the mid of something that it's someone putting on his own pocket.
We as a government, we are very keen to make sure that we promote coffee industry in the country. One thing that I would like to add is to make sure that you partner with our cooperative societies. That's one. But secondly, as you all know, our supply actually is big compared to the demand.
So we find like all our coffee now, it's supposed to be sold in the normal market, whereby the price in that market is only controlled by the forces of the demand and supply. There is no any other thing that can add the price of that coffee to be somewhere high. It's only the forces of the demand and supply. And the bad thing in this year is that the forces of the demand and supply was bad to the producer.
Earlier, the farmer like me here, the groups like me, you have the contract with the buyer. So you have to ship the coffee direct to the buyer, and the buyer will be paid direct to your account. But now, you'll be disconnected. The buyer will come to the auction, and then you buy the coffee according to the price of the market.
One of the areas of emphasis, we need to increase the value of our coffee. And this value can be increased in this kind of niche markets, which our coffee is actually, we've been selling also as single origin. Internal consumption is also growing. Currently, we are consuming 5 to 7% of our production. The strategy is to increase this level to 15%, whereby we will have at least able to hedge against price volatility for that level, because once you consume what you produce, you also go against the risk of price fluctuations.
The roasters also are waking up. They want to see that these farmers also are benefited, because this is the starting point of the entire chain. Without farmer, without a grower, there is no coffee shop. There is no roaster. There is no trader. There is no NYC. There is no New York there is no London market. There is nothing.
If the buyers or the people who own a big factory or shops over there, we can have kind of an exchanging, so we can go there for 1 year and work volunteering to see how does the market work. When I came back to my country, I can advise my father to do something more, see, to do something different.